Hello, everyone. Welcome to the team show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. Here it is. This is it. The final teams head around 23. It is Friday, the 16th of August, 2024. Pommy's joining me from the outset today. Hello, mate.
Hey up, are we diddling?
Yeah, we're diddling.
Mate, that's all you can do. You can only diddle.
It's only life, so you may as well just dance through it.
It's only life. Be right.
Yeah.
Hey mate, this is what this channel's here for, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Ain't that the truth? It's just life. Wait, hang on.
It's just like
Sorry.
starting over. It's just like starting over.
Like the first time. Yeah, look, bit to get through. We've got about an hour until the final teams are named. We've got press conferences to look at. We've got a review of Wicked to give the people. General chit-chattery. And, we're going to find out the teams head around 23. And we should have some fun because, you know what? We don't know how many more team shows we have for the season. So we may as well enjoy it.
Oh fuck! I thought you were going to really depress me there. It'd be like, I don't know how many more team shows we got left in with us.
No, there could be two more. There could be three. Who knows? Road to 17.
Six.
Welcome. Why don't we just see who's here? Lou, Lucinda, Matt Lang. Lucinda's all over the rain forecast. Jay Baggers is here. We got Duke Campbell Beshorner. That might be one of the coolest names I've seen.
It's hyphenated as well.
Duke Campbell Beshorner. That's
very posh if your middle name's Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah. Sandra, Yasu, John Holden, hello. Maz, Yasu. Natty.
That's you.
Richard, GM. Surely we're favourites now that Big Ashton's in. I'm very excited about Ashton. I think that's given me a little bit more light. Chichio, Damien, Pierre, Nuns. Yeah, don't forget to press the like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well if you're not subscribed to the channel. Pommy's hair looks wicked. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, this is as good as it gets, peeps.
Why don't we start with the wicked? We want the hovercraft.
We want the hovercraft. No. Mate, I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know. Fuck, Manny. Hey, mate, don't worry about it. Fucking some people are still looking for him. Like literally, it was really good, wasn't it? Actually, I really enjoyed it. It was captivating. It was entertaining. Would do it again. In all honesty, would do it again. Would be the POM recommendation.
I loved it. I love theatre. I love production. I love going to all sorts of things like that. Big fan. I loved it. Did you take any messages away from it?
Did I take any messages away from it? Yeah. I mean, I've always liked the witch. Like even the original Wizard of Oz. Like we were talking about that at the end. Like I just got her vibe, and then seeing her backstory of just being the wretched refused. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of enlightened it that sometimes, I mean, it's contextual, isn't it? Bad is only contextual at times, isn't it? So I felt like, yeah, if I had her powers, I'd go on a vengeance as well. Feel her.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen The Wizard of Oz. Steph's obsessed. My sister is obsessed with The Wizard of Oz. So I've seen it a couple of times, and I think it's just crazy to see just the reminder of there's always two sides to a story. There was a bit of that. Not to judge a book by its cover. What I thought about The Wizard of Oz, the actual character, The Wizard of Oz, before last night and after last night were two different things. I learned that, I guess, it's just a reminder of how citizens can be duped when their rulers feed them misinformation. And then there was one particular quote that I actually researched today to find it, which I thought was, I don't know, I remember hearing it last night, and it sort of stuck with me as well. And the quote from the show last night, which I really enjoyed, was, "I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn. And we are led to those people who help us most to grow if we let them and we help them in return." And that one hit me a little bit.
Deep. Look at us. Go to one fucking musical. Look at us.
It's not that deep, bro. It's just a play.
It's just a few people singing and dancing around, man. Mate, I really enjoyed it, and it was a good message, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? As most of these things are. But no, I'm with you, man. It was good. It was good to. I mean, for me personally, I am full caveat. Musical theatre is just literally old school Poms, like first date kind of shit. Just pretend there is a little bit more to me than an accent and hella good banter. So yeah, this was the first time Mrs. Pom really enjoyed it, which is important. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm a complete class traitor. That's for the people to decide. But no, I really enjoyed it, and I would go again. And me and Mrs. Pom are already looking at maybe checking out Sister Act, the musical.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was really excited because they've got one of her favorite movies is Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice is coming to the stage as well. Like, look at me now, Pom, just a regular theatre goer.
All of a sudden, you're a member of the theatre.
used to be Thursday darts and a fight out in the car park. The boys done good.
Look at you now. Yeah. So
now.
once again, thanks to Jamie for sending them through. I think reflecting on this week as well, I don't usually rely on others to pick me up, but thanks to those of you who picked me and picked us up this week. I think it's been a bit of a week like that. Just feel the emotion, come in, go out, and then just pick each other up, dust ourselves off, and go again. And that's what we have to do, because that's what Sunday is. It's another game and another opportunity for everyone involved to, make amends. And I mean, there is still a possibility that the season's not dead. The season is not dead as it stands right now. It might look dead, but it's not dead.
Yeah, this whole talk about like give it up, cue it rack, fuck me. If you've watched any of my rants on this very place, when I break cameras and stuff, you'll know that giving up is not an option. That's the one thing that I can't deal with. I can't deal with defeatist quitting. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't quit. No matter how hard something is, you don't quit. So there's still a pulse. Are they playing well? No. Do they deserve to play finals on recent form? Probably not. But you know what? Sometimes the best things in life are taken from the jaws of defeat, aren't they? When you rise above, you usurp it. So this weekend they have got a huge opportunity to get a bit of momentum, to prove people wrong. And there's 3 young lads in that team, Jackson Binns, 2.5 debutants, I'm calling it. 2.5 debutants that are coming into this team. And they've got a lot to prove. And they could be a big start of a very, very storied career for these boys. So what better opportunity? Sunday, middle of fucking nowhere in Western Australia, bringing it home for the Blues. Do you know what I mean? What an opportunity.
Like traditional, basic football, genuinely pressure and contest football in the rain, in the wet, skills out the window. It's just a battle of who wants to win the football and move the ball forward more than the other team. It is quite poetic the way it's all set up. 6 weeks ago, this was just a penciled-in win, regulation. Now it's like there's a fear of the West Coast Eagles. I mean, come on.
Oh, God's sake. Even when we were winning, though, and we're flying, there was a fear every week. Like, fear is this club, isn't it? You know what I mean? If it's not in the comments section, it's on social media, it's in the fans, it's in the fucking way they play. Like, fear. This pommy don't do fear, brother. This pommy don't. I don't even know what it looks like. I stopped being scared as shit when I stopped sleeping with a light on. You know what I mean?
The season is over rhetoric reminds me of 3.5 minutes to go at Marvel Stadium against Port Adelaide and the Exodus. So I think we could nip the Exodus in the bud and just, you know what? Be willing to get hurt again.
Well, I mean, I came up with some of my best work. It goes live. If you are a member of the channel, thank you very much. You do get to see the videos early because we're all about giving back here at the Pommianos channel. I really invoked my Carlton PR then.
Here we go.
But one thing we did talk about was Ashton Moir, Cooper Lord, and Jackson Binns, and the three things they've got in common with what Carlton lack at the minute, and that's their ability to stay wide, their ability to keep their width, especially Cooper and Ashton. I mean, especially Ashton and Jackson, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about these two being in because if they play their natural game, it allows Carlton to spread. It allows Carlton to keep their width. So I'm really, really excited. Just give me a moment.
I think what we'll do is we'll play the Michael Voss press conference. And that way that buys us a little bit of time. What do you reckon, Pommy?
There you are. Hey, look, I'm back.
Are you back? Okay.
You heard that, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm excited about. Them two additions, Jackson Binns and Ashton Moir, particularly, their ability to keep their width. Hopefully, if they can keep their natural game plan and play their way and don't get sucked into the contest, that's going to really help out. And then Cooper Lord, he's just a burst defensive magnet. So he's kind of what we've been trying to fabricate with Sam Walsh, Adam Chera and Hewitt and trying to make them something they're not. So I'm hoping them three come in and just are given carte blanche to play their way. I'm really excited about that. So we might find an option. Voss has done it before. He's found an accidental answer. This could be a chance for him to find an accidental answer.
Well, it just looks like a game where you've got no choice but to get down to work, blue collar work. So I haven't watched the presser. I want to watch the presser and pick it apart. I know you've watched it, Pommy, but I do want to watch it with everyone here because it's just one of my favorite things to do. So let's do that. Only just begun. Okay.
Hey, do you reckon we'll ever do a Blue Abroad musical?
I mean, yeah.
Hey,
this is one big fucking song and dance, isn't it?
I want to see a BA musical on Broadway, bro. Yeah, I want to see it.
I'll touch on that shortly. Let's unpack this.
Have you ever seen a week like this where there's so many ins and outs?
The question is, have you ever seen a week like this where you see so many ins and outs?
It's different, unique. It's probably a word that we've probably used, but there's an element of excitement as well. How can you not get excited when you got some players that are hearing some news that they're playing for the first time? So, downstairs earlier before we let Ashton know that he also plays first game. So, as you can imagine, there's a few smiles on the faces out there.
What is the vibe like around the club, knowing that you've got those new players coming in, but also the older, more experienced ones?
What is the vibe like down there? I haven't heard the answer, but if he goes, yeah, it's good, then that might be cause for concern.
Sitting on the sidelines and so important for yourself.
Yeah, look, I think the early part of the week is clearly about disappointment. After the game on the weekend, you're assessing the situation, and where to go next. So that's what happens first. And once you've sort of reflected on that and you sort of find your way forward, then you start to figure out what's next. And we've obviously started to prepare for that. We get into our next training session, with the back end of the week. We know the personnel that are going to get out there and get the job done. And so we're really excited about what's coming forward for us.
What can you tell us about the latest debutant?
What can you tell us about the latest debutant?
Well, Ashton's very exciting. Got plenty of X factor about him. He just loves footy. Really, it's it's a joy when you come into a footy club every single day and you see someone who's just wants to learn and get better. And he's a real excitement. He obviously plays forward of the ball. He's been playing a bit of the wing, but he's had to go about learning his craft throughout the year. And he's had a few good mentors down there. So, look, it's his turn and he gets to be able to get out there. And we're not going to ask anything outside. It's just bring that really raw enthusiasm and make sure you get your role done.
How do you get up this weekend? So many key players out, so many fresh faces in against a West Coast team that's enjoying a little bit of an uptick as well.
How do you get up this week with so many players out?
Yeah, they are, but I think that what we're firmly fixed on is the job's not done. We haven't shifted our focus on that. We want to have an impact in this season, and that hasn't changed for us. So, once you sort of assess where you're at, you take a couple of days to be able to just have a look at what the way forward is, and then you lock in on your next target, and that's West Coast, and it's it's obviously probably a good opportunity for us to be able to get away as well as a footy team. Probably spend the next 48 hours together and get over there and get a job done.
How much do you look at sort of the manner of your loss against Hawthorn? I know the situation was chaotic, injuries, players going down, but I'm sure there were things you wouldn't have been happy with besides all the injuries as well.
The question was around last week in the game.
No, look, I think that's our job is to look at what's from our point of view, just how much the injuries played a part versus how much our system let us down. And the reality is we didn't defend hard enough as a team, and we don't.
That's an absolute. Great. Didn't hear the P word, probably.
Step away from that. The early part of the conversation is having those accountable conversations around what our expectations are when you walk out on the field. And, we talk about personnel a lot. You can talk about who's there and who's not there. But my experience is that there's an attitude towards the way we want to be able to defend, and it wasn't in the right place on the weekend. So, against any side, that they'll give you troubles. And obviously Hawthorn were able to pick their way through that.
How much extra work has it been for you this week, moving magnets around and rethinking some of the game plan with the changes you've had?
Question was how much extra work has been done with moving the magnets and doing creating the game plan?
No, it's. I think for the first part is you've got to be able to sort of find out, okay, what's the actual damage, and that's what probably where we spent most of Monday is obviously working out, what length the players were going to be out for. And once we've done that, you move forward, because now it's about the solutions, and it's about how do we get our style of football. And I think what our style of football has been able to do over a period of time is stack up against some pretty good sides. So we talk about talent, system over talent all the time. And if we dive into our system and we're able to bring that effort and intensity, then we'll stack up pretty good.
A few commentators consider you to be outsiders this week. Do you embrace that sort of theme?
I don't.
Do you embrace being an outsider this week?
I don't listen to any of that. As you can imagine, I sort of tend to probably focus on what the job needs to get done, and the effort that we need to be able to bring, the strategy we need to be able to play, and then how do we go about executing it and building the confidence to the players and the belief that we can go over and get the job done. So I don't spend a hell of a lot of time reading through the newspapers if that's to try and find my motivation.
Do you embrace that sort of what you're up against at the moment, though? Like, do you talk about how few players you have to choose from?
Okay, it's a repeat of the question, but it's like, do you embrace not have the few players that you do have available?
This is maybe an opportunity to really do something special.
I think it's unique. It's different, and it's exciting. And we're coming to the back end of the season, and you can sort of tend to focus about what's not there or what's right in front of you, and the job we've got done. So there's a lot to look forward to, and that's from my point of view. When you look around, the energy's great amongst the playing group. We've got to get a job done. We obviously get an opportunity to be able to train it, and then we get to go out and play it. And stage of the season where we're at, I only find that to be really exciting and something to look forward to.
When do you look at, or in terms of the process of looking at overhauling or changing the department in terms of conditioning, those sorts of things? There's so many.
The question was, when do you look at overhauling and changing the department when it comes to conditioning? Like,
That's a
postseason. Look at all those sorts of things. You pull it apart.
I hate dumb questions.
And when we had end of last year, we reflected as hard as what we will this year, and we still know that we've got to become that real consistent football team. That message won't change. It won't change. Based on what happens over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we need to become a really consistent football team, and that involves many factors.
We were just watching the injured boys out there. Are you hopeful that any of them?
I'm not focusing on the injuries.
Another question about the injuries.
So you can focus on the injuries and write about them as much as you like, but I'll focus on the guys that are actually going to get out there and play. And
I like it.
The guys who are training and a job that we need to be able to get done.
How much do you draw?
I kind of want to go back to that
department in terms of conditioning.
Really exciting, and
the department of conditioning
stage of the season where we're at. I only find that to be really exciting and something to look forward to.
When do you look at, or in terms of the process, looking at overhauling or changing the department in terms of conditioning? Those sorts of
Who is that? Who asked that question?
That's a postseason. Look at all those sorts of things. You pull it apart, and when we had end of last year, we reflected as hard as what we will this year, and we still know that we've got to become that real consistent football team. That message won't change. It won't change. Based on what happens over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we need to become a really consistent football team, and that involves many factors.
We were just watching the injured boys out there. Are you hopeful that any of them?
I'm not focusing on the injuries, so you can focus on the injuries and write about them as much as you like, but I'll focus on the guys that are actually going to get out there and play, and the guys who are training and a job that we need to be able to get done.
How much do you draw on your own career and getting your head in the right mindset for a big game, which you had to do for your players this week? Do you give them any advice from your own experience?
Question is around how much do you draw from your own playing career?
No, not really. I think what we've really sort of spoken about a lot is what our own ambition is, and having this really strong feel that our job's yet to be done and it's not finished, and that's what our approach has been. And we also lean into what our purpose is, and being a great teammate, and how do we go out there and support one another through the way we need to be able to play, and how do we sort of bring that energy that we need to be able to bring for each other. And so there's not a lot that needs to really change. What we're going to do is almost double down on that and just make sure that we bring that for 120 minutes.
Do you change any sort of approach? Do you look at, in terms of last week, is obviously carnage, but do you change?
She having a bubble. She's like, do you change what do you do to change your approach given the carnage?
Anything in terms of injury prevention or anything?
In terms of injury prevention.
Anything, or is it just you go, well, last week was an anomaly and
we
had to go out there and play?
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do about fractured collarbones and the like. So no, we'll face the next challenge, and that's the thing that we love about our game. There's a great unknown. There's a great uncertainty about what happens next, but that's where courage lies, and that's where your boldness lies, and that's what we're going to have to be like this week is, play courageous, play bold, get a plan in place and execute it.
Just Ash Hansen is not going for the West Coast job. I guess what sort of a lift does that give you guys? It's been such an influential part of your club.
Yeah.
Question was about Ash Hansen.
Yeah. I don't know what I should say what I want to say, but it's nice that he's actually not going for it, although we would support him, of course. But no, I'm pleased that he does such a great job for us, and such a great support to me. And I get asked a lot about these situations and how do you work your way through it. And the thing I've learned is that it's about being together, and it's about solving the problems together and coming up with those solutions. You don't do it alone. You do it all together, and that's what we're going to be as a football club.
Can we expect to see any more debutants as well come Sunday?
Can we expect to see more debutants?
No, that's pretty much it, I think. I mean, obviously Jackson Binns played his debut, but he'll obviously take his position in the team. So he's pretty excited by that. I think the family might be even flying over as well. So we're going to have a few faces in the crowd that are going to be flying from Melbourne to Perth, which would be really exciting. So, I imagine the rooms beforehand is going to be plenty of smiles on faces and a few nervous parents. All right. Thank you.
Thoughts?
I think Bugs Bell makes a great comment there.
You're like super loud.
Oh, sorry. I did not. I have no idea why they asked them questions. Like for me, let's be honest. Being a journalist ain't hard, is it? It's probably one of the easiest jobs in the world. I would say working McDonald's would be twice as difficult as a journalist. I don't think any of them questions were anything you would ask a coach who was under obviously a gross amount of pressure, on the precipice of being one of the few sides in the history of the AFL to be second and then within 6 weeks miss the 8. I find it fascinating because I think you gave Voss a chance to really display who he is. Do you know what I mean? Really display what the vibe is in the camp. So I find it really bizarre, them questions, because there was nothing really we could learn.
Yeah. The amount of times they would ask the same question, there's just no creativity, but that's the world. I mean, the other part of it as well is it is unfair to draw conclusions based off a press conference, because there's a lot of tactics that go into a game that you don't want to reveal. One, there's a lot of tactics that go into not getting sucked into a question which is built and contrived to create a headline, at the same time trying to be as authentic as possible for your fan base, because you know that your fan base, in particular ours, will be watching it closely. And I think it's unfair to draw conclusions based off just press conferences. So there has to be so much more he wants to say, but that's not the forum to do it.
There is, but I mean, I thought he answered the question quite easily about injuries, because obviously,
yeah,
I'm thinking if I was a journalist and I didn't know what's inside the club, what are 3 things that I want to know? Injuries would probably be a part of it. I would have said, though, your answer to your injuries, unless you're a complete moron, is answered for you. The fact they've got rid of Russell, like Jesus, like if we're at this levels of analytical thinking, the guy's actually been removed. Like, there shouldn't be any more questions based on that. If you've got questions around that, you are literally officially an idiot.
Let's break it down for a second. She's asked a question, and I'm not picking on this journo because she's a woman. It's a journo's a journo, a professional's a professional. But she's asked a question about what are you going to do in terms of overhauling your conditioning department when the guy just left and there's 2 games left. Like, the decision's been made. It was just a bizarre question.
I mean, I think the obvious questions I would have liked to have heard would have been, what do you think these boys bring as players? There wasn't really any questions of, does the structure change with these ins? They kind of skirted around that. I would have thought that would have been one of the key questions I would have liked Voss to display, but also had the opportunity of asked. Do you know what I mean? Like, does this change your setup? Does this change the way you go about it in game with the players being brought in? Because obviously, who have you lost? Harry and Charlie literally have been the key targets for 2 years. You've lost them. So how does that setup change? What does that look like? Bizarre. Like, because to me, that felt, you know what that felt like is, you know, when, I don't know if you have it, because I don't really follow Australian politics, because I find them even less personalities than POM ones, and that's quite hard because they are fucking vanilla. But in the UK, quite often, these politicians will go on podcasts or shows that are exceptionally right or exceptionally left, depending on if they're a left or a right journalist. And it's kind of like a party political broadcast masqueraded as an interview. That's how that felt like. That felt like them questions were very easy. Very easy. And I feel like Voss, I'd like to see Voss get pushed, because I liked it when he snapped at that woman. Like, I like that, when he got a little bit pissed about it. I want to see the real person, the real man.
I would like to know his theory on, you know, because we're talking about a team that has to be connected, and a big conversation that comes up in sport is, do you need to be close off the field in order to be close on the field? And there's a number of different teams that you can look at. I think the Golden State Warriors is a good example of a team that was really connected and close off the court, and that translated on the court. But then you look at the Chicago Bulls or the Lakers, and they weren't necessarily close off the court, but they had to be close on the court. And I guess building connection, I would like to know, does he, his theory on, do you think AFL teams or great AFL teams need to be so close off the field in order to be close on the field?
So that's a good question. I mean, these are the questions that, I just find, I would have thought the easiest coach to interview right now would have been like McRae, Voss.
Yeah.
The coaches that are just on the precipice of the 8 and have disappointing seasons, because I feel like there's so much material there of what's going on. One of us is tanking horrifically. One of us has got injuries. And you kind of knew, didn't you? I knew, even before I watched it earlier, I knew I was going to get 3 questions on injuries worded the different way. Like, I just wonder what the intellect level is of journalists.
Do you know what it's kind of done? Do you know what it's kind of done? It's kind of, when you're so mad at the club and then someone from the outside says something about the club and then all of a sudden you start getting defensive of the club. It's kind of switched me straight away, because it's like, fucking leave him alone, mate. I'll look at him and I'll criticize the club, but you can't. It's actually just turned me.
No, 100%. But it's stupid questions, bro, isn't it? Honestly, like, no wonder the state of the world is so bad if the way that the common person gets their intel is usually through the medium of media. And if they're so stupid, like, honestly, I'm saying that I would have said, how many questions were asked? 11?
Yeah.
1 had merit. Like, 1 out of 11. That's appalling.
You had 3 kids that he told you were going to debut, and no one asked, what can you tell us about 1, 2, or 3? You had 3 opportunities.
1 out of 11. Like, honestly, I'm telling you, if my kids ever dare bring a school report and they get 1 out of 11, they'd want to hope they don't dare bring that next week. Do you know what I mean? Because incompetence is something I don't like.
Look at it, Tom. 100%. I've actually just in the moment just fired up a little bit more.
Well, you can kind of like to me they're like spot on as well, Damien. Nothing about the Eagles and the importance of this game. Like, no. I feel like the club has made a lot of sound bites as well this year. Like, you could now, if you want I can tell they want the sound bite. They want the sound bite. They want the slip up. Great one would have been Brian Cook went on a podcast in round 6, was asked a direct question. Would it be seen as a failure if you don't make the 8?
Oh, radio. Yeah.
Yeah, to which Brian Cook unanimously said, yes, it would be a failure. How do you take them comments as the coach? Because your head is on the line with that one. And how should you not make the 8? Will you regroup and try and find a victory in the failure? Like, there's a question. Like, your direct boss has said, you don't make the 8, you shit. Like, put a bit of... It felt way too relaxed. Like I said to you on the phone, Terry, I always watch these press conferences in mute. The body language there was way too relaxed. So that means that the press conference is too easy. And it shouldn't be easy.
The first couple of minutes was a positive, upbeat vibe, and then I thought it started getting a bit defensive when you started seeing him just sort of like hands on hips, just ready. And then it started getting a little frustrated when you started seeing when you hear it, you start hearing the same question. And so in the end, we're sitting here talking about nothing because nothing really came from that. But we've managed to let 20 minutes go by.
Well, I mean, it just shows the state the state of. I mean, yeah,
So,
the state.
You've got press conferences for the media, which I know some people have insinuated like we shouldn't do press conferences. We have to. You don't not do a press conference before a game. It's part of the league. They're obligated. They have to do it. So, but you have press conferences with mainstream media there. Then you have the ask the fans the questions, but that's generally more pointed to some fun, light-hearted questions that you probably get from generally a younger audience or a more humorously loaded question. I think there's a hole in there. Maybe not every week, but there is a gap for an adult fan questionnaire. Maybe that's the AGM. Maybe that's end of season.
I mean, this show's going to be all about standards. If you want standards, the journalists have to set a standard as well. Like, honestly, I'm telling you, it's not hard. Do you know what I mean? We live in 2024 where the lowest standard is journalists, because now as long as you've got one of these, you can be classed as a journalist. Do you know what I mean? So like we've even taken away qualifications from the gig. We've made it quite easy. So how about we go back to a society where excellence rises? And like, honestly, if I was the editor of any of these media outlets and they're the questions, they'd be lucky to be sweeping the floor Monday morning.
They must not watch these presses. Their bosses.
Or probably, Job, and it just looks good that you've sent your big morons to that. Do you know
what else would be interesting? State your name and your organization before your question. State your name and organization before you ask a question, so we can all know exactly where it's come from.
I mean, to be fair, though, does it surprise you? Because outside of like the ones that are on TV, and they're bad enough, but like you've only got to go on socials, haven't you? And when like even the Carlton affiliated journalists, like just listen to their opinions on team selection, or just listen to their opinions on I'd pick this player, and then they give you the reason, and you're like, fucking hell, man! Like you got a degree in this? Like the standard of Australian degrees, they must like make you just eat 8 packs of Wheaties, and you get it at the end. I had to graft at uni. Yeah, like I actually had to graft. Like fuck me. So yeah, shocking. Fair play, Voss. Though I mean, Voss, he wasn't really challenged, and I think that's what annoys me the most, because I feel like this is where the cream rise to the crop. Pressure him a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pressure him. Like he's on the precipice of taking the most strongest Carlton team, of going from second, a couple of games away first, to blowing out of the 8. Injuries aside, he did that before major injuries. So why are you not giving him it? He should be right now dreading that interview. He should have been having sleepless nights thinking, fuck, I'm going to get some tasty questions here. And instead he got questions of like, have you given the boys a colouring in sheet to keep them occupied on the fucking plane? Are we being serious, man? Then we had people asking the same question but changing a word. Like, this ain't hard. Journalists, if you're watching, your job is easy. I could send my 2 9-year-olds to do it, and I'd imagine they would ask more intuitive questions. That is a shit show, because my 9-year-olds can't do anything better than a normal adult, as their 9-year-old children. That's why they're children. Jesus, embarrassing.
Bugs Bell, maybe one day. All I can tell you is this. BA does not meet the requirements for AFL media accreditation. And when I asked what those requirements were, I did not have the answer given. So we just wait patiently.
Yeah, they actually invited me and Terry to an exam, and when we shook our head really fast left and right, it didn't rattle. So they said we couldn't have the accreditation.
Maybe one day.
Might have to drink more Tide Pods.
Inshallah, one day. Hey, let's take a look at some highlights of Ashton Moir and what we're going to see from him. We saw Cooper Lord's highlights yesterday. Let's take a look at Ashton Moir.
A restart of play. From the pocket, here's Moir. Oh, what a great goal from the boundary.
really well. Gets wide out the back, who was impressive last week. Speaking, getting out the back, Moir's got on the end of this, drops the mark, has to pick it up, goes himself, opening goal to the Blues. Bins.
And 9 clearances again.
To Moir. Speaking of super.
Oh, he's got 2.
That's one heck of a start for Ashton. Again, Ramshaw goes towards Moir, who's wide hot in the opening stages. McComb, Moir with a ball and all. Puts the pressure on, big hit there.
First 2 of the day, had 6 possessions in the first quarter, has had 6 since for his third, and to strike a critical blow.
Now Lord has got plenty of space, feeds it off. Moir, 52 metres out, steering kick inside the 50.
In turn 1, Jaff, been a stopgap in defence, stripped by Moir.
Carl at the back. Well, the hand pass from Caperon was stolen by Moir, and now they've got plenty of space.
Tried to guide it on through to Martin. Comes loose once more. Sparks turning it over. Moore being good in front of Lemmy. It falls out the back here. Underground handball turns over. Moore gets the snap and kicks the goal.
Handball's inside 50. A little don't argue from Monahan. Brushes that off. Kicks to the top of the square. They've got the mark.
Robbie.
There's the kick. Is good.
McMahon from the pocket, dribbles it goalward, across the face. It's still alive. Here's a chance. Moy's got to pick it up. Can just snap a goal. He does.
Throw in. Crosley wins it down. Chance now for Moir. Sees daylight and snaps a beauty. Great kick from Moir.
It out himself. Here is Binns, who just hacks it inside the attacking 50. Harvey couldn't take it. Moyer's down there, needs to get the quick kick away. He does, and it's wonderful.
Canal. All right, mate. Calm down.
Turned over. Here's Moir. 70 out. Goes into the pocket. Good pass.
All at the back. Tunstall. Got to be wary.
He went back to Hardy. Hardy back to Lovell. Moir tackled him to the ground, drove him deep into the turf.
Monahan left it behind, but then went back to pick it up. Pitnet. And now Ashton Moir. His shot on goal just sneaks in.
Nice.
The Rob Monahan highlight is my favourite. Like that's my favourite Rob moment ever. The fucking audacity, right? The audacity to give the don't argue when you played one game just turned me on something chronic. Absolute disrespect from the Irish boy. We like a little bit of Moir. If you've been watching the VFL, easily, I'd say by Flemington Strait, the most improved player, like from his draft year. From his draft year to now, who's added the most weapons, Moir would be top of that tree. So definitely deserves his opportunity. Like I said in my preview, probably all of them 6 months too early, but needs must. But a man who has really worked hard on his craft, and looking forward to seeing him out there. Yeah. He's big time. He's built for the big time. He's wanted the big time. He's got big time.
Well, there's something about all of them, really. And then there's a story with all 3 of them, probably more so. Oh, no, I think Lord is included in this. So I think Moir, there was a piece of footage I saw at the start of the year where he was, really locking himself on having a goal to make a debut in round 1 or opening round, whatever it was. And I'm sure Binzi has also been toiling away, wanting a game, which we've seen a little bit on social media posts that he's liked, which allude to the fact that he hasn't been picked and whatever. So for those 2, and I guess 3, with Lord, you've been told no, not ready all season. You've been knocked back. Maybe within themselves, they've felt like they've wanted their opportunity and that they are ready for their opportunity. And the frustration builds up. And all of a sudden, you get to the second last game of the season and you get that opportunity. So if we start with Binns, right, he would probably be the one that you would make a case that may have been the most stiff, given who was in the side for Carlton early in the season, the makeup of the team, a bit more senior experience. And not that he wasn't ready to play, but there were just players ahead of him. All of a sudden, that frustration, it's like you release the shackles. So I think the nerves of can I perform, can I not perform, almost get overtaken with the frustration of I'm going to perform.
Mate, spot on. And these players, like all of them, Cooper, who you've mentioned, even Jackson, they've all added layers. Like they've all added layers. It surprised me Jackson Binns up until 4 weeks ago hadn't played that Cottrell role, because I remember doing the draft report with you. That was where I thought his natural succession was. He's been lumped on the wing 90% of the time. I think the fact that he's gone half forward has really showcased that willingness, and I think that's a natural area for him. And Cooper, like one of probably the most unfortunate players in the draft in his year. Do you know what I mean? It really has been a shock to me that you look at 2023. Do you know what I mean? He played with Riley Sanders, Charlie Edwards, Cal Shadir, Luke Lloyd, Harvey Johnston. He was the standout he did all their defense in their title-winning year, and Carlton ended up picking Matt Carroll, if you remember, at the end of the rookie, who was a guy who got injured, who was doing the same as Cooper Lord as well. Them two were the tough nuts of that group. It's quite interesting that he's taken the opportunity, he's gone away, and he's come back strong. So these are opportunities, bro, that these players probably don't have, that wouldn't have had. And we've seen it before, haven't we? Players get opportunities way too early, and they fly. They really do fly. So he's definitely, all three of them are deserving for different reasons.
Yeah. And then I think the other part of the conversation is around Harry Lemmy. Do you think it's a weather conversation? It's a weather thing as opposed to a is he ready thing as to why he's not playing?
I mean, it's a tough one. I'd say that probably history will say playing key forwards, they're a confidence guy, and Harry went through a very hard time early this year in the VFL, particularly the first 6 to 8 games, where they swung him down back and then they moved him back forward. So maybe that might be part of it, that Vossy and the coaches have looked and gone, look, if he goes in here and he gets battered, are we going back to square one? Are we going back to square one again when he's finally found a little bit of form? So could be that. Definitely the weather. It's not going to be a tall person's game. Have they got a set plan? Harry playing Kennedy forward, floating the other guys there at centre half forward to go in low, and thought, look, let's just give it a week. And is it also something that Harry and Charlie have fit next week? Is that a big thing as well? Have they thought, is this going to do him any favours playing in one senior game when there's a VFL game on, when we can just play him in the VFL, and then we're dropping him next week anyway because Harry and Charlie, one of them's definitely getting up. So it could be an element of that as well, not to ruin, I think, his development. I'm quite happy for Lemmy not to play. I'm gutted for him, but I'm quite comfortable not hanging him out to the Wolves yet and giving him another year. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let me just check the weather, because I think there's more of a chance of rain than what it was the other day when we looked at it.
Josh Holden, Matty Carroll has been in and out of the injury table. He came injured, had a serious injury in his draft year, and he hasn't fully recovered. So no, he hasn't played VFL. So one to watch next year.
So Saturday, it's definitely raining in Perth. Definitely. Sunday, all the percentages of rain have pretty much doubled. So the game's going to be at 1:40 p.m. Perth time, I believe. And now we're looking at a 52% chance of rain. So wet, slog, old school football. It's all set up. And you probably need more skillful players in contest than what you don't in a normal game. Who does this game suit when you think of it?
What, teams or players?
Players. Who does the game suit? Sorry, 240, not 140.
Cripps. I mean, it's funny. When I did the preview, everything Eagles are bad at is the things that Carlton have forgotten how to do.
Yeah.
Players, everything that we need to do in the wet, they've forgotten how to do. So this is going to be an interesting one. I mean, a lot's going to be relied on that forward line. If that's Motlop gets his second chance, Zach Williams, Durden, that forward pressure has to be good. Has to be good because they're going to have to play territory football. And that's something that we've forgotten how to do recently. We've got the territory bit right. We've forgotten the bit, the main art of winning the ball back. So that's going to be really, really strong for the Blues. They're going to have to get back to that chase ball, make the ball hard, turn it, force the turnover. So, I mean, Cooper Lord will love it when it's wet because there's a few games in Sandy last year where he was covered in a shitload of mud and took the piss. So he's a bit clean in them areas.
Like a pig in shit. That's the kind of game style that I like.
Right. He's a good little player. He's old Coops.
So I think the other part as well from last night, Lewis Young was named on the field. There was one more. Binns was named on the field. Lewis Young was named on the field. If we look on the interchange bench, we know that Lord is playing. We know that he's being named. We know that Moyer's been named. We know that there's not going to be another debutant. So that rules out Billy Wilson, Harry Lemmy, and Dom McQuay. So is this just the bench? We have to find it out. It's these four names: Chincotta, Lord, Carroll, Durden, with Moir. Is that the four plus the sub?
Yeah, I mean, you'd imagine here it's going to be Voss's mentality. Is he going to go Carroll sub? Mm-hmm. Because we have got a lot of midfielders in there. And it gives a little bit of a chance that whichever one performs the least and gets a bit tired, you bring him on. Mm-hmm. Is it because it's small, you want Durden there and tell Durden to be Fogarty, which he did do very well. Has to be said, last VFL game, pressure-wise, he was good. Or does Voss play the extra mid and use Durden as an impact sub as insurance if Motlop does what he did last week, which, I mean, I agree. Some of the comments in the chat, I think Motlop is very lucky. I love Motlop, but I figured last week, when Fogarty went down, Motlop really checked out defensively. And as he's our second best statistical forward over the last 2 years, I was very disappointed in him because I thought that was a chance. But could be interesting. It's going to be Durden or Carroll sub, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Mick, according to Willie's weather in Perth on Saturday, there's a 100% chance of 25 to 40 millimeters of rain. And Sunday, 95% chance of 10 to 20 millimeters of rain. Yikes. You know, water's a good thing. Water is a purifier. It just washes away all the bullshit. Maybe it's a sign, Pommy.
Fucking hell, Terry is clinging on to that H word big style here. Fucking hell, water is a cleanser. What the fuck are we on about? We've lost Terry, chat. We've lost him. Stay with me.
It's been raining.
Stay with me, chat. It's okay. We'll be all right.
Hey, man, listen, it's been a week, all right? I'm looking for something.
Mate, look, they've got to do something, haven't they? Let's be honest.
You got to wash away the bullshit, mate.
Just, look, play angry is my thing. Look, come out there and just play angry. Play with a little bit of fire in the old gut. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, the ones I'm looking at, and I would like Durden to play over Carroll because of this, is Carlton have gone from third. Like a lot of the stats this year, the last 8 weeks, we've gone from top 3 to bottom 2. One of the most alarming stats is tackles inside 50, which Voss keeps hounding you. Pressure, contest, pressure, contest, pressure, contest. Carlton have gone from 2nd to 18th. And
really?
The gap from 18th to 17th is getting bigger by the week as well. So I am really looking at Motlop and Durden here, really looking at them to say, look, boys, you got to fucking show it. You've got to set the standard. And that is a worry. that is a worry for me this week because when it's wet, when it's stodgy, your tackles have got to be good. These guys have got to do it. So this is a great game in the terms of everything they've been horrible at in 6 weeks. If it's wet, they've got to do it. If they don't do it, they're going to get battered.
Yeah. It's just a little bit of watter, mate.
Well, mate, as a northerner, mate, fuck, bit of water don't bother me. It still gets me. Australia, even golfers. Oh, it's raining tomorrow, and I'm like, bro, we fucking melt you. You'd be right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I question anyone who wears a jacket in the rain. So do you know what I mean? Like, grow up. But we'll be
Tori
right.
Saros is here. Hello, Tori. Physically, I'm here. Mentally, I'm here. Mentally, I'm stuck 1 hour before the prelim at the pregame function, living my best life. Yeah. Well, it's a bit like that. Hey, Maz has gifted 10 Blue Abroad YouTube memberships. So if you are one of those 10, you got to say at least a thank you. Like, surely.
Hey, Maz, setting standards. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. I don't know how we got here, but I moved to Melbourne. True, it's no longer Tory from the Gong. It's Tory from the Burn? Melbourne? Ugh. Ugh. All right. Buckspell. I have no doubt the coaching staff have laid the law to the underperforming players. They know they are on notice. Could be their last 2 weeks at Carlton if they don't produce the goods. Woof. Joosh.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, we'll never know, but it would be lovely. It'd be great to hear, like, you know, Nick Austin, like, because they will have had, like, genuinely, like, August, the start of August is where player agents and stuff are allowed to speak. So you would imagine about July time, they had a meeting, Vossy, football, Brad Lloyd. Brad Lloyd would have probably been lost though, being like, oh, fucking hell. All right, guys.
Yep.
I'm Brad. And they're all like, who the fuck's this cunt? But you'd imagine they would have had like a little meeting of what they're going to do in the off season. I would suspect that shopping list has completely changed. Like,
yes.
And I reckon it's going to get progressively more different in 2 weeks should they finish 9th, 10th, 11th. It'd be very fascinating to see.
Totally. Aiden, guys, if you think about it, if we win our next 2 games, we make finals, then we play week 1 against the Hawthorn. Probably then we play Geelong if they lose to Sydney. Get pumped. Mate, yeah. Can you imagine playing Hawthorn again, week 1 of finals?
I've always been consistent with this. I don't look at what the players are, like what teams are. Couldn't give a fuck. You've got to beat them all, man. That's why I don't believe in danger game. Like, you want to win the flag. I think the biggest loser mentality is being worried about a game 2-3 weeks, and that, to me, that's a loser. That's what a loser does. I'm just about, you've got to beat all 17 sides, and it can be any of them. Could be Gold Coast in the grand final. Could be Collingwood. Couldn't give less of a shit. All I know is that you've got to beat it. You've got to beat them. I mean, so if it's Hawthorn, if it's fucking Collingwood, if it's Dave's team from the Dog and Duck, I couldn't give less of a shite. At the end of the day, we're going to have to beat the second best side in the league if we want to win a flag.
I just think, as angry and as sad as it's been the last couple of weeks, there's got to be something left before our season potentially ends. Every team who's been in this position has had one last gasp. And we haven't seen ours yet. We haven't seen them play with that last bit of air before it all ends. So that's what I'm excited for. I did like the reference to playing bold and playing with courage by Vossy. I did like hearing it.
Amen. You've got to go. You've got to go. You've got to go out there.
You've got to go for it.
And I think the big thing that excites me, really, like in the next couple of weeks, is I ain't giving these guys an excuse with injuries. Like, it's time we set a standard. Like I said it in my preview, cold hard facts, 9th versus 16th. 9th versus 16th. Fuck who's in, fuck who's out. As a team, you did it with injuries. Okay, you've lost Mackay and Kerner, but you overused them anyway. You should be
you weren't
beating
using
West
them properly
Coast Eagles.
anyway.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You should be beating West Coast Eagles. You should be beating West Coast Eagles, whoever goes out on that field, if you are a serious football club. So, as far as I'm concerned, okay, we're inconvenienced. We go out there and we fucking beat them. Like, if not, why the fuck are you on the list?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in yourself. So, let's go and fucking take it to them. Hey, take it to them.
Well, we're less than 60 seconds away from teams dropping. So this is exciting. I might just get the website on now.
I'm with you, Michael, mate. Michael, I'm with you. Like, my message to all these guys who have got a game that maybe don't deserve it, give Voss a fucking problem. Give him a problem. Don't make it so easy as Cherra week 1 of finals. Don't make it so easy. Make him think, hang about, Cherra's been dog shit. Cooper's killing it. He stays in. Make it hard. I love it when you guys say, I love it when you guys in chat go, teams are in. And me and Terry are both on the same sheet. And I'm like, liar. Don't lie to me.
Don't lie to me. Said you
All
never
the times I said that I love you, you lied to
me. Yes, I tried.
That's what me and Mrs. Pom did on the way home last night. We just cranked the radio. We listened to my emo playlist. You should have seen it. Mrs. Pom in a gorgeous dress. Pom in a faux salmon suit. Top of our voice singing My Chemical Romance to the lights with the windows down. Would have been a right state.
We're just waiting for the notification.
They're in.
Into the team show.
Tez, press Control R. Yeah.
Okay, we're here. The teams are in. Hang on a minute. Oh, we should trumpet every time the teams come in. Alrighty, here we go. Official. We have Sard, Mackay, Martin, Boyd, Kerno, Fogarty out injured. In comes Lewis Young, Jackson Binns, Ashton Moir, Cooper Law, Jack Carroll, Corey Durden. We are pretty much looking at the team right now. No changes on the field from yesterday. Lewis Young is there. Halfback flank. Binns is there on the wing. Interesting. Now, if we go by the logic that happens every week, that last name is generally the sub.
And yes, how it works is they never alphabeticalize the team sheet. So if one is suddenly out of place like that, it's game over.
Interesting to note, Williamson umpiring. That's what happens when you play on a Sunday.
No, we started. Here come the outs.
Here we go.
Here come the outs. Honestly, chat, this week, let's give them no fucking outs.
Yeah.
Right? Look, Brodie Kent, Wheater in, Cowan. Fine. Lewis Young, tell you what, mate, you're the new Lockie Plowman, bro. And no one even... I saw Lockie Plowman. He lost about 8,000 fucking followers when he left his club, right? So don't be Lockie Plowman. Like, find a way this week, bro. Mitch McGovern, God, he cops some hate, doesn't he? Time to come back. Nick Newman's never bad. Jackson Binns, man. Been talking about you for 2 whole fucking years. Now let's see it. Any dickhead can get 40 touches against Southport and Postman, but you've earned your rights. Come and do it. Cripps, legend, Akers, back where he is. I am really excited about that right-hand side, and I talked about that in the preview. Carlton have defended that side. Seeing Ollie Hollands play half forward and Binns, I reckon they rotate that role and both of them get the attacking position. Carlton are going to have to find an answer for Ben Camporelli because Ben Camporelli ain't doing what Ollie Hollands does, and Ollie Hollands ain't doing that forever because he'll request a trade. So maybe that's an exciting fact of becoming a left and right wing side. Who knows? Always ever reliable. Matt Kennedy full forward. Yes, baby. Hook it to my veins. Mate, we're fine. Look at their team. It's full of aging rock stars and fucking kids you've never heard of. Go out there and bully these dickheads. Let's win it.
Yep. I just want to see which one looked better. But if we look at the West Coast team, so Ryan Marich and Clay Hall are omitted. Harry Edwards and Jack Petrocelli is in. Fun fact, Petrocelli grew up a Carlton supporter.
He did. He played basketball, didn't he, with you?
He played basketball with me, yeah. Well, he was much younger than me, but yeah.
Did you bully him?
No, I didn't bully him. We play on the same team. We used to play on this team on a Sunday night. And then we played for the same club, the Whittlesea Pacers. But yeah, he was much younger. He was a star basketballer back then. Yep. And a blue bagger. Anyway. I mean, come on. None of this puts fear into my eyes, if I'm honest.
Why should it? I mean,
why should it?
Not giving them outs, do you know what I mean? They're over 18. They're over 18. If you can't deal with adversity when there's a group of 23 of you, fuck me. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Should be fine. West Coast, they're 2 wins in a row. They're flying. They want to hurt us. This is a huge game for them. So, chance to set up and play. Do you know what I mean? People saying, who's on Waterman, who's on Ryan? Who gives a fuck? It's quite simple. You've seen West Coast. Make them kick the ball long. That's where they've struggled all year.
Yeah.
That's midfield pressure. The midfield pressure is fine. One of the top sides in the last 5 weeks, West Coast, on inside 50s becoming goals.
Really?
They're playing like a top 4 side because teams are starting to put the pressure off them. We've got to go in there, put the pressure on them, and you watch. Liam Ryan will be dog shit. Jake Waterman, he's the only worry because he hangs out the back on overlaps. Put the pressure on, watch this side fold. So that midfield's still as good as it's ever been. Put the fucking pressure on.
Well,
because that's what we haven't done.
Yeah, well, I look at that forward line, and that's just pressure. That's all I see. That's all I see.
Mate, last 3 games, forward pressure been diabolical.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? Durden, everyone's forgotten he exists. Make him remember, kidder. Make him remember. Honestly, this side loses. You saw me angry last week. This side lose to this side, I'll be equally as angry because I'm here to win flags. I ain't here to hear excuses. Do you know what I mean? I'd legally adopt all the team if I wanted to hear their excuses, their hopes and dreams. I'd legally adopt them. That would be me saying I genuinely care. I don't. I want to fucking win. So all of you go out there and win. It's not that hard. It's West Coast Eagles, mate, in 2024.
Do you think there'll be a change in this? Do you think this will actually be the forward line come game day? Or do you think that we might rotate one of these guys in the back line into the forward line?
I think Brodie Kemp, Lewis Young and Mitch McGovern will have spurts in the forward line 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's how they'll start, though. I think based on that, because Jackson Binns is there, Jackson Binns' ability to hit a target 55 out has been his real big strength in the VFL. So I actually think Binns will get more wing role and Ollie will be the provider because Ollie and Elijah lead for the midfield really well on turnover. So I actually think Kennedy will stay in the forward half in the goal square and be a nuisance. Motlop and always work off him. And the other 3, Williams, Hollands, will actively work to be a link and get the overlap. So I think that'll be the plan at first. Let's try and outpace them. Let's try and outmove them. So I don't mind it. And then I think worst case scenario, they'll break glass. Lewis Young will go full forward. And if that doesn't work, they'll rotate Kemp and McGovern through. But I like that because that Lewis Young in the back line, if you can get Kemp and Cowan, that's a lot of intercept. Because if you actually look, what Eagles' mistake when they're under pressure is they hit the shallow areas. which means if we've got an extra 3, we can attack them. I'm really excited about that. On paper, the pressure's there. This is good.
Where there's so much opportunity for some players in our team to earn their right to stay in the team, should we continue to stay alive and, push to a finals berth. Well, I mean, Corey Durden hasn't been spoken about for weeks. Got hurt with the shoulder, hung on. He's coming back in. He's got a bit of experience now in the system. He's no mug. Jack Carroll's the same. I mean, Cooper.
There's a couple of players in here that would probably be looking. Jordan Boyd being a walk-up start.
Yeah.
So, and if Chincotta's the sub, which it looks like he is, based on that, well, there's suddenly an opportunity's opened up, hasn't it? Suddenly an opportunity's opened up. Lockie Cowan in recent weeks has played on the smaller guy, right? Has played on the smaller guy and done well. So suddenly you're asking the question there, has a spot opened up in this back line for someone else? Has it opened up? If I'm Lewis Young, I'm thinking, you know what? I am going to defend like a Trojan. I am going to say to Voss, me and Wheatering can play together. Wheatering can be freer and intercept. Jack Martin. If I'm Ashton Moir, I'm saying, look, I'm fucking better than him. The ceiling's already better than him, but I'm going to show you the floor's better than him already. I'm excited, man. I am excited. And Kennedy's got a huge job here because he's going to prove here that he's a two-way. And if I'm Cooper, I'm seeing for Kennedy and Hewitt always sacrificed. I'm going to fucking show Voss I'm better than both of them. Let's take it, man.
Pitto in the wet against Bailey Williams. That's all fine. So there you go. There's your teams. There is your teams, ladies and gents. We got there.
I'm so excited. Like, honestly, don't want to hear any of this or excuses. Fucking go out there, boys. I'm sick of hearing the excuses. You had your best team out for 6 weeks and played like fucking dickheads.
True.
I want to be doing my review Monday and going, Jack Martin, enjoy wherever you fuck off to.
Yeah.
Jordan Boyd, Adam Sard, only one of you's getting in. Only one of you's coming back in the side. Like, make it hard. Make it hard. And Corey Durden, bro, what an opportunity. He was miles ahead of Fogarty a year ago. Miles. Take it back, young lad. You bald-headed prick. Who's Lockie Fogarty? Never heard of him. Take your fucking job back.
It's true. Go and get it.
Like, it's your job. Take it back. Like, I want to be talking about with you on Monday, Terry. Fuck Fogarty. Dirds is him. Take it back, bro.
He's got all the tools to do it.
And Jesse Motlop, there's talk of Liam Ryan coming to Carlton. End that fucking rumour this way. I do not want Liam Ryan anywhere near Carlton Football Club. The most inconsistent small ever. Take that job, Jesse. Let them know you're him. Own it, bro. Stop being shit.
Yeah. Time to step up. That's what it is.
Fucking kill him, Terry.
I'm just looking at some of these guys and their experience. It's not as... I mean, there are debutants, but some of these guys that have come in that haven't really stamped themselves with authority just yet. I mean, we talk about Jesse Motlop, 37 games. Talk about Ollie Hollands, 39 games. Brody Kemp, 41. Corey Durden, 45. Jack Carroll, 19. Binsley's played one. Well, not really, but, as a sub. Yeah. We'll find out a lot about this depth. This is depth. This is the actual depth of the list. And you're going to find out who's going to be a part of the future. So,
mate, you got to be serious. Like, they've got to be serious. Like, what an opportunity! Like, these opportunities don't come on trees. They don't come on trees. Like, Aidan, the last thing we need is Dan. How many stars do we want in this team until you realise star power is what holds us back? I want real people.
I had this realization, well, many realizations, but I had a moment of realization yesterday. The Messiah complex is the poison at the club because we and the club prop these players up to be greater than what they maybe are because of the strong brand that they wear. And then when the ego is fed too much, the hard work stops. Like, I like it when we're in dogfights, when we have injuries and when we have to just get to work. That's where we do our best work.
You know what? I'd trade one of our A graders, right? One of our stars, one of our all Australian guys, if you could give me 3 Matty Kennedys.
You know what? I just keep coming back to Joel. Joel was right.
No, honestly, I think that question needs, like, all the midfielders. You look at our midfielders, everyone's copy and pasted. Like, we talked about it briefly. There is a video coming out later on next week. I've just got to finish it off, but I deep dived AFL's lists of what the best 22 looks, and we've got a lot of copy and pasted players trying to play the alternative role. But, mate, what a weekend. I've just gone through the numbers now. Look, Carlton's average age of this team, 24.5. Matches, 70.7.
Wow.
27.3 goals on average. Where their team, 25.3, 100 games. They're back to the baby blues, bruh. Back.
The best.
They're back.
The best type.
Mate, they're back to being children. They're back to being children.
They're back to having to prove themselves to earn the contract before the ego comes.
And good, because you know what? Maybe you've earned way too much fucking respect too soon because you fucking played finals.
Yep.
Welcome back to shit heap sandwich. Welcome, boys. Missed you. 2018. Do you remember them vibes? We're children. Well, now let's fucking earn that pride. Yeah. I reckon Akers, to answer your question, whoever asked who's the 7th mid defender, I reckon because Voss has played the extra winger, it makes sense Chinkotov drops out because he liked playing Akers at halfback. So I think that's the extra rotation to allow Bins to flourish. Let's do it, boys! Let's fucking kill these dickheads!
No, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. That is the team's show for this Friday, the 16th of August, 2024. Pommy, thanks for joining. That was fun. Bit of life back today. Come Sunday, I think we'll be chomping at the bit. Footy tonight. Oh, you know what? Let's just get some tips in while we're here. One more little bit.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, we're all going to do it anyway, so we may as well just do it together now that we know that teams are in. Tips for tonight. Also, I don't know why I've become obsessed. I think you're getting a little bit of a glimpse to my personality. When I love something, I love it a lot. Herbatron. He's got me good. He's got me real good. The Bombers channel. Who wins tonight? I think the Bombers can do it in a really random way.
I think just because of the statement Scott made, I feel like they're on a turn. But, I mean, can Sydney keep losing, bro?
Well,
I suppose they can.
You did say that they were cooked.
Still think they are as well, but what are the odds? Bookies are never often wrong.
$1.70, $2.10.
Oh, so it's close in their mind. Sydney.
Gold Coast at home to Melbourne.
Is that the People's first?
Yep.
Yes, Gold Coast, because Melbourne have gone full fucking Bob Marley's den, haven't they?
Okay. GWS Freo, cracking game. I've had my eye on Freo all week for some reason.
I've really hoped Fremantle win because I just can't deal with fucking seeing one more fucking video of Kingsley walking around talking and then everyone going, "Oh my God, he uses words!" And I'm like, wow, well done. Yeah, GWS.
Collingwood, Brisbane at the G. You did say
Collingwood.
Collingwood? Really?
I was listening to Scott Pendlebury on old Swoopers, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Mate, he's dun, 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 dun. He's ready.
Wow. So you've changed your tune on the Lions. Interesting. Port and Adelaide.
Surely Port.
Port. Okay. St Kilda Geelong. You just know St Kilda won't show up for this game, but show up next week.
Yeah, Geelong by about 800, and then all next week, you and me, after scadging a win against the Eagles, will hear, oh, they're hurting. St Kilda are hurt. They'll want blood, and I'll be like, oh, great, yeah, cool. Here's the momentum killer.
Yeah, Jake called me today. He's like getting ready for like preview for next week, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta sit in front of him, and he's gonna give me that smirk.
Just chin him.
Yeah.
Set a standard, Terry. Set a standard.
Yeah. Give him a little elbow. Doggies North.
Ow.
Doggies. Hawthorn, Richmond at the MCG.
Arcs.
Blues and the
Oz.
Eagles.
Oz.
There you go. That would put us into the 8.
We'll do 2. We'll do 2, though. We'll do one us losing to Eagles just to appease you miserable fucks in chat if there is any left.
Wait, let's go to the next round. What about next week? So if the Pies win this week, I would assume you're going to think they're going to win. They're going to make it next week.
I think Melbourne are gone. When they pulled Clayton Oliver out, it's too bad. Let go. It's over. Nobody listens to techno.
Okay. Richmond, Gold Coast at the MCG.
You know, this is crazy. I think Richmond, because they're going to parade Dusty around. Because do you remember, I called it when Richmond won the other week with the Dusty thing?
You did?
I think Dusty's a big influence. I think they'll do it for Dust.
The Hawks to beat North at Tassie?
Yeah, if Hawks start losing that, fuck me, pack up shit.
The Lions to beat the Bombers at the Gabba after losing 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Sydney to beat Adelaide in Sydney.
Yeah.
Doggies, Giants, Mars Stadium.
Mars, isn't it? So that's Ballarat, in it?
Ballarat.
And Dogs have only ever lost once there, haven't they?
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Dogs then.
Carlton, St Kilda.
Us.
When's the last time we won the last game of the season? Last year was Giants. The year before
Giants.
was Collingwood. The year before was Port Adelaide, 19 goals. David Teague, pick up the fucking phone. 2020.
Why does he do this to himself? Like, I've just wasted energy trying to get you all up and about, and he's fucking bringing his back down, man. You know, he's bringing us down, baby. Tommy's gone all the way back to like the dark ages. 2013, evidently 1 point versus Port. Fuck me.
No way. That's the last time we won the last game of the season?
Fucking hell, Sam. Jesus.
True. That's the game to get us into finals.
Sam, no way. I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to go back and watch Wicked tonight. Fuck me.
Oh my God. Because I know that 2015, 16, 17, one of those games was Sydney and Buddy kicked 10. Anyway. So you
Timmy, just do me a favour, go back the round and just make Eagles win.
Yeah.
Right, go this way.
Yeah.
So then if Port won that last game, no, wait, just go back. So go back to the final round. You've got Eagles. So if Port win that, what happens? Oh, Jesus. See, this is why you can't they've got to win. Because do you want to be watching at 6:10 Fremantle Port? If Fremantle win that game, what happens to Port?
They go to third.
Okay. So they've got something to play for. They've got something to play for. So it's not going to be like one of them stuck in the mud things like it was with us with GWS last year, where there was no incentive for us to win. So there is going to be motivation. Yeah, got to win too. Because remember, Uncle Pom doesn't count it if you've got to rely on someone else. I never count it. success doesn't count if you've relied on other people's misfortunes. So if that happens, Tez, what happens then?
If what happens?
So if that happens, as that is, let's have a look. Let's dare to dream. Let's get the vibes going. I know why we started losing, because we did this just before we started losing and everyone was like being negative, man. This is a collective energy. Let's change it. Sydney, GWS, Sydney.
Yep.
Brisbane at the Gabba. Dare to dream, Terry.
Dare to dream.
Charlie Curno's come back. Harry's come back. They come in. The boys have won 2. Yes! Yeah, dogs. Oh, there we are. Look, here we are. Pom for 2 weeks. All he's seen is fucking Kingsley.
I'm getting out of that.
No,
I'd
come on.
rather...
Still the vibes.
Mate, the vibes are up. You know what the vibes are? Let's beat the Eagles. That's the vibes. Let's stop looking
100%.
ahead. Let's beat the
Dare
Eagles.
to dream. Come on, Blues.
All right. Thanks for being here, ladies and gents. We'll see you soon. Go Blues.
Go Blues.